Alright, so I'm getting this information right now to me. Alright, how the humans came to be. Uh, First, it started with the Arcturians. They are what we know as archangels. They have wings. They were the first creation in this solar system. And then they created the Annunaki, uh, which then created the Iggigi, which so the Anunnaki we would know as angels or fallen angels, and the Iggigi we would know as the Greek gods or the Nephilim. Uh, okay, no, not the Nephilim. Okay, so we would know them as the Greek and Roman gods, the Iggigi. So Lucifer is one of these Iggigi. Now, it all has been in our whole solar system the entire time. This whole story, the biblical story, is our solar system. The Arcturians started out in Uranus, and then they went to Saturn, and then Jupiter, and then Mars, and now we're at the Earth. So they created the Anunnaki on Saturn. And then the Anunnaki had gone down to Jupiter, and the Arcturians, when Uranus froze, the Arcturians met up with the Anunnaki on Jupiter. And then this is the story that Zachary Sitchin gets into, is that they went looking for gold. So they went to Mars first, and then they created the Iggigi. Now, while they were on Mars, Lucifer was an Iggigi, and what happened was he rebelled. He left Mars and came down to Earth, and Earth is a creation unto itself, and all creation can produce its own living creatures. So there were hominid beings here that had evolved. Consciousness was just starting out as a planet, so it was very new consciousness. So it was unintelligent consciousness. Not that it's not intelligent, just it's or unintelligible consciousness. Unintelligible consciousness. So they so Lucifer, in order to come down here, he became physical to come down here, and in order to maintain his physical body, he needed protein and he needed mates. So he started eating and having sex with everything that lived here, and they started producing his children, and he would then eat his children or have sex with his children, depending on what they looked like. If they looked good, then he would keep them. If they looked retarded, then he would eat them literally. Like if they had Down syndrome, I don't mean to sound offensive, but he would eat them. But they were the smart ones. So he kept the ones that were actually very unintelligent and in favor of their looks. So he mated with those ones over and over while eating all the smart ones. And so what happened was eventually there was a good amount of these beings here. These were Homo sapiens pre what we are, and they lived on the Earth. Then when Mars started being in trouble, and they needed to look for gold again for both Mars now and Jupiter, because Mars wasn't in good shape. It didn't have as many resources as uh, the other planets do or did. So the Iggigi and Anunnaki come down to Earth. So the Anunnaki go looking first, because the Arcturians, they're done with all the nonsense. So they never went past Jupiter. But now the Anunnaki uh, come down and they find that there's human-like creatures, and they're like, "What? Like, how's this possible? How's there intelligible consciousness on this unintelligible planet when we haven't come here yet?" And then they remembered that there was one Iggigi who left, so they had 200 originally. Then there was only 199 because Lucifer left. And they always wondered what happened to him. Well, that's what happened to him, and he maintained himself by eating his children and having sex with his children. To so he had there was all these beautiful people just running around, but they were very, not intelligent. And what happened was the Anunnaki started having sex with them because they were so beautiful and stupid that they would just do it. They could just tell them like that they were their god and they're their creator, and they created Lucifer, their god. So uh, so the Iggigi end up, all the Anunnaki and Iggigi start warring on Mars, and they blow Mars up. Essentially, they blow Mars up, and the eventually they make humans from uh, from what the creation Lucifer had started. Yeah, the unintelligible meet the intelligible. So then the Anunnakis were having, and the Iggigi both were having sex with these beings that Lucifer created, and they created humans, and they created Nephilim, and they created giants, all types of different stuff, because they were all different beings. And now you have the humans that we are. The Iggigi and Anunnaki have left us, and the Arcturians, they all have left us, but they're around, but they've left us to our own devices. And the grays that we see, that we know as grays, are actually ancient fallen angels, ancient Iggigi and ancient Anunnaki and Nephilim. Ancient, so ancient that they've lost all, they're so decayed. That's why they're grays now, because they were once giants and now they're a shell of themselves. They're gross. Yeah.